Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Alexander Investment Insights. We got a nice video today here lined up for you. We're going to go over a few stocks, including Home Depot. We're going to go over Target. We're also going to go over Ulta, along with other stocks like Lulu. Some potential longs I'm looking at. Baba as well. We're going to go over UiPath and some other AI retail stocks like Sound. And then we're going to go over MU. So just a lot of different stocks today in video. Today we're going to start off with DJT. We're seeing that DJT is running up since it's closer to elections. We're predicting that the stock was going to start getting some legs, and that's exactly what it's doing. Today having 17% gain on the upside. So I have two levels here on DJT, one at $27.30 resistance and $21 support. DJT's pumping up closer to elections where we might see it get more legs. All the way from its low September 24th to where it's trading at now is already up 100%. So it could go up higher actually. And we have 2 days that are actually pretty important for the elections, October 18th and October 28th, where we might see a lot more volatility on DJT. Just one of those retail stocks that is kind of risky. You don't want to get lost in a play in it, especially when it's booming up like this. You really want to wait for some red days like this if you want to buy shares. We don't play options on the stocks at all. We would buy and then sell shares. So that's what I'm seeing on DJT. Just know that as we get closer to the elections, you might see DJT get some legs. We'll go to SiriusXM after this. SiriusXM, I have resistance at 25.50. I'm not looking on anything at SiriusXM unless we break that 25.50. Then we might trade up to around the 27.30 level or the 28 level, which would be like a nice 10%, maybe 20% gain on the upside. Not really much to do with SiriusXM, but I thought I'd just add it in here for now, just in case a lot of people want to see like how you might trade a breakout resistance. Like let's say this resistance hits, it could definitely just drop right back down. But if this resistance breaks, you could buy shares at that point and then sell it around the $27 levels just for, like a quick 10% over the next 2 days. So that's what I see there on Siri. We go to Home Depot. Home Depot almost back at its all-time highs. We actually go back to November 2021 where its all-time highs was $420, around 30 cents. And so I have resistance here at 417.60 and support at 397.50. You see how yesterday we opened up above that resistance but came right back down? That's an indication that resistance didn't want to break. We opened up above it, but we came right back down. And then today we just kind of stalled out, went right back up and right back down, and ended pretty much where we opened. So there's two levels on Home Depot. If you're looking for a breakout trade, if that resistance really breaks, then you might be able to get swing calls to actually play it up past that all-time high into like the 120s. So that's what I see there on Home Depot. We go to Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree's at some pretty low levels compared to where it's been in the past. We zoom out to the monthly chart. We've seen that Dollar Tree, has a great track record of being a good growth value stock. Go down to the daily chart, it's been dumping a long time, and especially off this last earnings, man, did it take a dump. So we're at low prices on Dollar Tree. We have a support right here at 67.80 and a resistance at 75.55. Yes, I am looking for Dollar Tree shares. Eventually, I just want to see when it really wants to go back up, because we go back up, but then we start heading back down right here. The support is going to be a level to see, look, if we break this support and we drop below the 60s, then this stock might be really discounted. So I'm just kind of waiting on Dollar Tree. It's been really stalled for the past 3 weeks, just stuck between our two support and resistances, and it might be like that for another few months. So there's no need to rush Dollar Tree right now. You're just going to want to let it move. Shopify, we have our resistance at $84.20. You see that it hit there perfectly yesterday, and I have support here at $69.50. So kind of a big range on Shopify, but since we just hit that resistance and we didn't want to break it, you're just going to want to keep watching that, because when that resistance does break, it could be a nice swing shares back up to somewhere around like the 90s or above. So that's what I'm looking for on Shopify. There's another support here around 80. I'll put it on here. 78.50. 78.50 is another support there. So you're just going to want to watch out for that. But once this resistance here breaks, we actually might see some legs on Shopify again. And that could be nice for shares or anything like that. But not really much I'm looking to do on Shopify at the moment. We go over to Lulu. Lulu also has some pretty low evaluations compared to what it's been at. You see that it's been a great growth stock in the past, and recently it's been crashing down and finding support actually around our 260 area. We go to the daily chart. We have support at 260 and resistance at 292.50. Once that resistance breaks, we could see Ulta back up to the mid 300s possibly before, meeting another resistance around 350. So that's kind of what I want to see on Lulu. Yes, I am looking out for shares on Lulu. I think it is a good company. Obviously on Baba, we've had some major vertical movement on the upside, right? China's printing money. There's a lot of, I guess you could say, bullish news in China right now, which is why you see a lot of these China stocks just pumping right now. But the thing about us is that we don't buy stocks when they're pumping. We buy stocks when they're in pain and when they're dropping. That's a gem right there. It's, pretty much investing in itself. You don't want to buy at all-time highs. You want to buy when people are selling and people are afraid because they think that not that bad things are happening to the company, but because the stock price isn't really reflecting what's really going on in the company. So we have support here at 105.80 on Baba. If this breaks, there's like another support around 102.80, but we're just going to keep this support here at 105.80. You see that it held yesterday and then kind of went back up today, so that's all I really see on Baba. I do want to buy more Baba, but I want Baba to go down before I buy more Baba. Ulta, I have support at 356 and then resistance at 404. You see that we actually held support perfectly today. You could give that a like because look at that, held perfectly. You see that Ulta went down, that resistance hit, and then what happened? We boomed right back up to the upside. So you could leave a like for that. We actually want Ulta, if I'm going to buy more shares of Ulta, I want it below this 320 range. If we get it between 320 to 280, actually that would be really nice because we see they also have a really nice growth stock in their history and they're kind of down right now at a fair value price. I wouldn't say that they're discounted. I bought them down here because it was a fair value. And I buy stocks at fair values as well. So this is just really important. If we break this 356 level to the downside, we could start seeing Ulta go back to like the 343 area, and we could actually maybe do swing puts for that to happen, but we're going to want to see that Ulta actually wants to drop below that 356 level before we do anything with it. Target kind of been stalled the past couple months, not really wanting to break any of these supports or resistances. I have support at 149 and resistance at 157.80. Been going up for the past 3 days since it hit our support. You see that it hit support, held, hit support, held, and then has been going up actually. So yes, Target is also at like a fair value price, you could say. You know how it had a big crash down right here and then it kind of held. So that's what I see on Target. You're just gonna want to wait because we've just been stalled out. You see how on the even on the monthly chart, there's no like clear direction. It's just 5-6 months of just boom, 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 back and forth. Really not much going on, quite frankly. So that's what I see on Target. We'll go back to Nike. Everyone knows that I do want more Nike shares. We did hold a support around at $80. So that's another support. I do have support here at $78.30 and then resistance at $88.70. So I'm just looking for Nike to maybe go down to lower prices. You see that we had a crash off of earnings. Not a huge crash like happened on this last earnings. That last earnings, we had a huge crash, and then I bought in here in the Summer Olympics. And so, we kind of want a huge crash before we buy Nike. But we might buy Nike again if they start shooting up on us, because they are still at like fair discounted prices. So that's what I see on Nike. Palantir rising again, pretty much at their all-time highs. We actually scroll out, yeah, all-time highs are $2 away. So you're probably going to see Palantir up to those all-time highs and above if they keep moving like they are moving. Not anything I want to do with it right now, but I do think it is a fairly great company. So Sound AI, this is one of these retail AI stocks. Really not much to do, right? It's stuck between our support of 440 and our resistance of 370. You see how it hits our resistance, comes down, it hits our support, goes up. It doesn't really want to break either one. There's really no direction. You see since April, no direction. We had a pop right here. We had pop and then boom, came back down. Just been no direction really. So it's kind of a hold right here on SoundHound. I don't really know much about the company, but I know that they are in the AI sound game, and they're probably, a lot of the AI stuff is going on, but you don't really want to trade a company or invest in a company that you don't know much about. UiPath, also another AI retail stock. You see that ever since it's dropped off its earnings in May, boom, just stalled between $10 and $14. I have a resistance and a support here that whenever it reaches support, perfect hit, boom, goes up, perfect hit of resistance. I've had these levels on my chart for a very long time, and you see that they're working like gold. So there's really nothing much to do here on UiPath, just like there was on Sound. Now let's go to some of the bigger volume stocks. We'll go over to Microsoft. Microsoft, I still have support at 408 and resistance at 435.50. You see that support held on Tuesday, went back up, kind of stalled out today. Really not much to do there. If this support breaks at 408 to 405, you could see some more legs on the downside of Microsoft, but we're just going to want to wait for that because we are having some slight words up movement right now. Googl added to support of 160.70. We go to the 5-minute chart. You can see that Googl opened up at its support and then just kind of went up, because that means it didn't want to break. You see how even yesterday it went down to its support, went right back up, and then pretty much stalled out at its support the rest of the day. Same with today. Opened up at support, went right back up, meaning that Googl isn't wanting to break its support, at least for right now. If this 160.70 area does break, then we could see Googl, to the 155 areas, which could be a possible swing put options, but that's what I see there on Googl. We go to Micron, MU ticker symbol. You see that we have support here at 99.30 and then resistance at 113. We held support here October 3rd and kind of stalled out, and then we had a nice pop today, a nice update on Micron, so we're just going to want to see what happens. Not really much to do on Micron right now, if I'm being honest. Go over to Meta. Meta all-time highs here on Monday, and we've been stalled out, holding down. I guess they do have a support at 182.70. I will put a support there, actually, because if this support does break, then we could see Microsoft down to our next support, which is 570. So 582.20 support on Microsoft and 570 support, on Meta, and 570 support on Meta. Those are my two levels there on Meta. We go to Nvidia. Nvidia climbing right at its resistance once again. Resistance 134.50 right there on Nvidia. If this breaks, we're going back to all-time highs is what I think. Remember, we had this resistance, now it's support at 127.50. We broke it, we traded, we got swing calls options. I sold them for around 40% the next day here on Tuesday, and then now they're at their next resistance at 135.50. And what happened today? They closed exactly at their resistance. You see that we went up, boom, resistance hit, and then just stalled out for the rest of the day. So if once that resistance breaks, I actually might do it again. I might get more swing call options on Nvidia to go back to its all-time highs. And actually, speaking about that and swing call options, I also played another one. I don't do swings, to be quite frank with you. I'm not a swing trader. I'm a scalper and I invest because I don't like to hold positions off of hopium without knowing exactly what I think it's going to do. So, but I did have a resistance here. I think it was here on Avgo. Oh, its other one. It was 178, and then I bought swing calls once that broke, I think on yesterday. Yesterday on Wednesday, and then we sold them intraday. We didn't like hold them overnight. It was pretty much like a 2 hour swing. I guess if you could even consider that a swing. Some people might just consider that a scalp. But that's what we see on AVGO, almost back to their all-time highs. They're pretty much all at their all-time highs right now here. So really not much to do except just just wait for some pull down. I got support at 170. You go to Amazon. Amazon support at 181 and resistance at 194.30. Not really much to do. It's kind of in no man's land. It's been going up and down for the past couple of days, so there's really not much to do there on Amazon. We go to Apple. Apple, of course, I have a resistance at 230, support 222.75, and another support at 214.40. You see that we're kind of just stalling up at that support right now. Apple hasn't really broken that support to the upside. So there's really not much to do. When this support does break, you could possibly do a swing call to 233, but it hasn't really looked like it's wanted to do that right now. So that's why you see it's stalled. It's really, Apple's been stalled for the past, since July. We've just been in the same range. There's no like clear direction on Apple right now. Just kind of like moving freely, not really much to do. So that's what I see there on Apple. I'm going to leave the video there and not make it too long. Make sure you leave a like, follow, subscribe for more. Do not trade you see anything in the video. I am not a financial advisor. So other than that, make sure you leave a like. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow.